Joseph, are you okay in there? I can hear you crying, but in your trademark way that's super cool and not at all pathetic.
No, it's nothing. It's just, I made the junk speeder video today, and I didn't change my name on Edo Pro to Hey Speeder. It would have been so funny.
Good afternoon, jank enthusiasts. I'm MBT, and this is 10-Minute Testing. By and large, Konami makes it clear what they want you to jam. Strong cards come out for the archetypes they want to push, and they'll wait to ban them until they've seen enough play. But this isn't always the case. Sometimes Konami will print an extremely busted card with nowhere to play it. Such is the case with Junk Speeder, though with some new synchro payoffs and a recently revised master rule, I'm hopeful we can finally break this bungus. Presenting Junk Speeder. Before we begin, let me take this time for a quick announcement. The 9th Yu-Gi-Oh! Quarantine series will be taking place this Sunday, September 13th. If you're a $5 patron, you already have access. For everyone else, signups will be going live tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the community page, so stay tuned. So here's the list, and I know we are literally prevented from using link monsters, but I'm still gonna play Hulk. As always, I'll give you a background about the archetype, a little bit of a discussion about what I hope the deck can do, and of course, the card by card. But first, this video is sponsored by Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck. Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck is an online strategy site for our mutual favorite card game. It's got a deck builder, card database, and a wealth of strategy articles. It's also where I post the Quarantine Series deck breakdowns, so give it a look at www.ygoprodeck.com. Now let's jump into Junk Speeder. Junk Speeder is actually an old card from a time before Halcross. It was printed in the 2018 Megatins, you remember, the last ones that weren't DM themed? Everyone expected the Yusei cover card to be Hulk, but in one of the very few good decisions ever made by Konami, they released it with the cover card of Junk Speeder instead. This card reads like a Reddit custom. On summon, it can summon as many Synchrons from the deck as possible, provided they have different levels, and then it locks you into Synchro monsters until the end of the turn. Obviously, this wasn't particularly powerful in Master Rule 4, but now that we can shut our eyes and pretend Link monsters never existed, it opens up some interesting options. We are playing Quick Draw Synchron, Hyper Synchron, Junk Synchron, Fleur Synchron, and good old Jet Synchron, so we can literally fill our board to the brim with bunguses. From there, we can flex our extra monster zone as a non-tuner holding pen to traipse through Zulkin setups, ideally ending on Berserker, Herald, Crystal Wing, and I swear I'm not joking here, Geomathmech Final Sigma. We're also making use of some extremely strong recursive jank and junk, converter and carrier chief among them. Quick shouts out to Noah YGO Pro, where a significant amount of this combo theory came from. Because it's 2020, we're also playing a Hulk setup in case our speeder meets a swift end. One extender puts us in range of the Auroradon line we all know, love, and oftentimes loathe. So with that, let's get into the card by card. First, our Synchrons. Quick Draw, Hyper, 3 copies of Junk, Fleur, and 3 copies of Jet. Next are our setup tools, 3 Converter and 3 Carrier. Finally, we're on both an Unexpected Die package and a Quick Launch one, so we're playing a Megalo Smasher, Crowned by the World Chalice, a Silver Rocket Dragon, a Shell Rocket Dragon, and a Rocket Synchron. Bringing up the rear is this guy. For spells, we're on 3 Die, 3 Tuning, 3 Called, 3 Quick Launch, 3 Living Fossil for a Power Tool Dragon setup, Rhoda, 1-for-1, Upstart, and a single Scrap Iron Signal. This is extremely high roll, but also extremely strong with Zulkin. In the extra, we're on Zulkin, Geomathmech Final Sigma, Satellite, Borreload, Crystal Wing, Berserker, Power Tool, Dragster, Stardust Charge, Speeder, Garden Rose, Herald, Dawn, Hulk, and Link Hurry. So with that, let's jump into the games. Our first match is up against Crusadia Mech Knight, and while they undoubtedly want to go first, I doubt they want to do so against a deck like ours. This is a phenomenal hand. Let me show you what it's capable of. We're going to lead with a copy of Junk Converter, getting a Junk Synchron to hand, which we will then normal summon to bring back the Junk Converter from the graveyard. We'll Synchro summon a Junk Speeder and activate its effect. It resolves, we'll get a Hyper Synchron, a Fleur Synchron, a Jet Synchron, a Quick Draw Synchron, and a Junk Synchron from deck. Next, we'll make an Ultimaya Zulkin and trigger its effect as we set a spell for a Power Tool Dragon. We'll activate Power Tool Dragon's effect to get a copy of Living Fossil to hand before Synchro summoning a Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon and triggering Jet Synchron's other effect. Did you forget it had one? We'll get a Junk Converter back from the graveyard and activate the effect of Fleur Synchron to summon the one from our hand so we can go to a Garden Rose Maiden, triggering Junk Converter's graveyard effect to bring back Junk Synchron. Next, we'll Synchro summon a Draco Berserker, a Geomathmech Final Sigma, and end by activating the graveyard effect of Garden Rose Maiden to bring back Crystal Wing. Our opponent will start with a copy of Mech Knight Purple Nightfall before normal summoning a copy of Arborea. They're going to activate the effect of Blue Sky. This is a fantastic opportunity to activate Draco Berserker, which does not negate, but in the case of this particular Mech Knight, kind of does. They're going to go into Draco Shadow and Regulus, they'll summon Arborea again. This is pretty much the last time I'll be able to interact with my opponent, so I go for the Herald here. They are forced onto a copy of Morningstar and pass turn. We should be able to win here. We'll activate Quick Launch to get a copy of Rocket Synchron, and then make Halqifibrax. We'll use its effect to get a copy of O-Lion, then link summon a copy of Auroradon, triggering the graveyard effect of O-Lion, so we can activate Auroradon's effect to destroy our opponent's monster. We're a little short on damage. We're going to negate the effect of Brotar before setting a spell from our hand, triggering the effect of Zulkin, and making Borreload with no negates. Our opponent will concede. While this deck's turn 1 setups are extremely impressive, they're also light on spell and trap negates specifically. This is occasionally problematic, as you'll see in our second match against Toons. We've once again drawn the combo. We'll lead with a copy of Unexpected Die before normal summoning a copy of Junk Synchron to make a Junk Speeder the hard way. We'll activate its effect, summoning from deck a Jet, a Hyper, a Junk, a Quick Draw, and a Fleur. From here we can make a Zulkin once again, setting a copy of Upstart Goblin so we can summon a Power Tool Dragon and add a Living Fossil to our hand. Next we'll go ahead and Synchro Summon Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, triggering the second effect of Jet Synchron for a Converter. We'll Living Fossil back this copy of Crowned by the World Chalice so we can make Herald with Fleur, triggering Fleur's effect to summon the Converter from hand. We'll make a Garden Rose Maiden and trigger the effect of Converter to bring back this copy of Junk Synchron, making a Draco Berserker, going into Geomathmech Final Sigma, and once again bringing back the Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. We'll activate Upstart Goblin and find nothing interesting. We'll set one card and pass it back to our opponent. I'm feeling very good. They'll fire off a Toon Table of Contents, and they'll follow it up with a copy of Toon Bookmark. They're going to activate Toon Kingdom. We'll negate it with Herald of the Arclight. Then they'll activate a second Toon Kingdom after reborning our Jet Synchron and going into Anima for some inexplicable reason. And suddenly we're at the mercy of double Comic Hand. How on earth do we out this? They'll get in for 6,000. We can do 6,000 attacking over the Anima, but maybe we can do it if we summon more dragons. Oh, well, that's going to throw a wrench into our plans. Okay, we'll activate Tuning here, and though we do get in for a lot of damage attacking with the Geomathmech Final Sigma, we can't walk over the remaining monsters. So it's time for Game 3, and you know what that means, a best of 3 versus meta. Our opponent's playing in for Noble Knight. Realistically, they shouldn't be able to play through our turn 1 setup. We're going to lead with a copy of Unexpected Die, just like last game, and then normal summon a copy of Junk Synchron so we can make a Junk Speeder. Are you sick of this combo yet? We'll activate Speeder's effect, summoning from deck a Quick Draw, a Fleur, a Jet, a Hyper, and a Junk. From here we can make a Zulkin, and though we already have the Living Fossil in hand, we're still going to make Power Tool because we need the stars. We'll go into Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, and then get a copy of Junk Converter to hand. We'll Living Fossil back this Crown by the World Chalice, and then Synchro Summon using Fleur Synchron so we can use its effect to bring the Junk Converter from our hand to the field. We'll go into a Garden Rose Maiden, bringing back this copy of Junk Synchron before we can make a Draco Berserker of the Tenyi, a Geomathmech Final Sigma, and reborn this copy of Crystal Wing. We'll pass back to our opponent and wish them good luck. For turn they draw an Olivier. They're going to activate Heritage of the Chalice. Next they're going to normal summon a copy of Ogier. I will activate Herald in response to that, so they can't threaten battle phase. They'll go for the Olivier next, and then special summon a copy of Reynaud as well. They'll go into an Isolde. We'll Draco Berserker here, because really the effect that we care about is the second one, and they'll concede. Well, we've gotten a combo off on our opponent 3 games in a row. It's only fair that they get to do so to us. Our hand for game 2 is... Boy, this is miserable. We have a copy of Hyper Synchron and a Fleur Synchron, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think we actually can't make Junk Speeder with this opener. Our opponent's going to lead with a copy of Neo Space Connector, summoning an Aqua Dolphin from deck. They'll activate Aqua Dolphin's effect and unfortunately do have a target. They'll special summon a copy of Isold and activate the first effect for a red layer, and the second effect to summon from deck a copy of Genba. They'll next turn her into a Link Cross and summon 2 tokens to their side of the field, and Martial Metal Marcher, Martial Metal Marcher, Martial Metal Marcher! Hey! God, I am so sick of this card. They'll bring back Genba and then make a copy of Tatsunoko so they can go into a Borreload Savage Dragon, equipping this copy of Isolde to that monster. They'll then go into a Halqifibrax, summoning a Sphere from hand, unfortunate, before triggering the effect of Sphere and the effect of Auroradon in sequence. They'll equip it to the Auroradon before getting 3 tokens to their side of the field, and next they'll go ahead and activate the Sphere effect to get the Durandal effect to get a copy of Reynaud. From here, they're going to activate the Auroradon effect to summon an O-Lion from deck. Next, they're going to, Synchro summon a copy of Roland and activate its effect. They'll activate O-Lion's effect in Graveyard. After that, they're going to special summon this copy of Reynaud and activate its effect to get the Living Fossil back to hand. They'll go into a Herald of the Arclight, Living Fossil back the Reynaud, go into a Coral Dragon before a Charles, wow, okay, and then activate God Phoenix Gearfried as well. They'll proceed to end step, and then activate Charles's effect, equipping and then popping Smoke Grenade of the Thief to take an additional card out of our hand. Yeah, this, I don't see this one working out. So it's time for that all-important Game 3, and this game is a testament to that old adage, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We activate Unexpected Die at the start of this combo to, I don't know, play around Ash, but in doing so, cut off early Zulkin access. This combo is about to get extremely scuffed. Because of it, we're going to have to go into a very early Power Tool Dragon, activating it here so we can activate the Graveyard effect of Fleur to get the Junk Converter out of our hand. We'll add a Living Fossil to hand, which thankfully is a spell card. We'll go into a Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon and trigger the Graveyard effect of Jet Synchron before making a Garden Rose Maiden, triggering Junk Converter to bring back this Junk Synchron and making a Zulkin with those 2 monsters. We'll activate its effect for a Borreload with no negates before Living Fossiling back a Megalo Smasher X so we can go into Dawn Dragster and bring back the Crystal Wing. This boar load could just be a berserker. That might make all the difference. Our opponent's going to lead with a copy of Reinforcement of the Army. We are going to Dawn Dragster that. Next, they'll activate Smoke Grenade. Why would they activate Smoke Grenade? I don't understand. Okay, well, they'll go for Sublime Knight and Squeak Knight to go into Isold. We'll activate Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. They'll Ghost Ogre. Well, now they're not going to have the equip spell that Oh, okay, now it all makes sense. They'll go into a God Phoenix Gearfried and proceed to the battle phase. We have no negates, so they'll be able to equip the Dawn Dragster and get over our Geomath Mech Sigma. All we have to do is out this card, however. That shouldn't be too difficult. We draw a Junk Converter for turn. We're going to normal summon a copy of Synchron Carrier and follow it up with a Junk Synchron. That'll eat the Gearfried, which allows us to go from the graveyard, the effective Jet Synchron, and it's Halka-Fibrax time, baby! Now, I don't want to get greedy here. We don't have much left in the extra deck with which to capitalize on this Auroradon, so we're just going to use its effect to destroy our opponent's monster and leave them with nothing. All we gotta do is fade them one draw step exactly. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, dude? The best card in the deck and we have no negates whatsoever! Okay, they'll get a Genba, they'll go in a Link Cross, they'll activate its effect, they'll summon 2 tokens, they'll make a Martial Metal Marcher, they'll activate Martial Metal Marcher's effect to bring back the Genba, they'll go into a Tatsunoko, they'll use Tatsunoko and the red layer in hand to go to a Boarload Savage Dragon, for which we have literally no out remaining in the deck, they'll go into a Halka-Fibrax to get a Vylon Sphere, and then an Auroradon triggering the graveyard effect of Vylon Sphere, and the Auroradon effect in sequence, they'll summon 3 tokens to their side of the field, and I can't believe we lost this game. I can't believe we lost this game. They're going to go into O-Line and then Synchro Summon a Roland, activating O-Line's effect as well as Roland's. And while they can't make Charles, they can walk over what little monsters we have remaining. We draw for turn, and with no tuner access, I think we've got to concede. So we're back with the deck, and yes, it was hilarious that it went toe-to-toe with Infernoble, but anyone that wins the die roll and negates Isold can do that. I'd put more stock into the tune loss if I were you. Let's do the pros and cons. First, the pros. 1. Resolving Speeder does win the game. They couldn't have telegraphed they wanted this to be the case any harder, but I'm still happy it works. Turns out putting up tons of negates on the back of 3,000 attack point monsters is still enough in 2020. 2. It feels bad to use them, since they're not going to be too much longer for this world, but Quick Launch is dope in this deck. The ability to free summon extenders with no stipulations seems extremely unfair. Why is E-Telly at 1 again? And 3. There's something beautiful about the Auroradon line being the backup. And the cons. 1. It does die to most hand traps. You might scum a game off your opponent extending past the Junk Synchron starter, but games 2 and 3 they're going to know exactly where to drop the Gamma. 2. It's got no follow-up outside of Satellite. If your opponent equalizes the board, that's pretty honestly the end of the game. And 3. Deck's not playing Junk Warrior, 0 out of 10. All in all, it's an extremely interesting deck, but is more suited to a Turbo Tuesday than a 10-minute testing. So that's that. As always, thanks to my patrons, MeepMoto27, Dominic Ernst, Hakuo, Alex Perea, Candyman, Koibo275, Crispy, Dimsum05, Intercrest, King Magic Ruler, Lavender Lemonade, Meteor Mirage, Mike Carlotti, Rocky Hernandez, Rose Lapine, Seeker, Space Dandy 1993, Stevie Blunder, Tyler Slacks, Tyrese Biggums IV, Adam Trevino, Adrian Bra, Emilio Elefandi, LG Smarset Kavicius, Alice Rethi, Andrew Benson, Andrew Horseman Lindemann, Angry Bread, Apex Systems, Billy Williams, Blake Root, Candide, Chad Bortz, Chess Prime, Chibi Gohan, Chorps Away, CJ Alex, Cobbin, Connor Kid, Dan the Man Hoban, Darcy Taves, Devin Dees, Dylan Conley, Donnie Fillerup, Distrin, Emperor Stove, Ernesto Ibar, Fighting Fangwong, FUTR, Gamer Games, Gavin Charlie Kowski, Isaac Jackson, Shane Nya, Jared Lorman, Jason Leonard, Jeff Leonard, Jose Luis Cortez, Kaiba Corp Shill, Corey Hess, Kurokaze, Lawrence, Lucas Geardas, Lucky Number 5, Lucas Rizzo Hansen, Meadow Edits, Mezzo Emrys, Michael Oskavarik, Miyuna Arashi, Nick Extreme 99, Nick Dolores, Pro FP2, Pro Yugi Dad, Samsoon, Sean Dial, Second, Standards Objective, Swag Kage, Yuri's Best, Zach Jenshewski, Zach McKee, Bleh, Dive Missile, Picnic Blasted, This Machine 237, TJ Steakhouse, and Yukie. If you like what you see, please consider subscribing. And if you want to be part of the process, consider following me on Twitch as well. See you next time.